Hello and welcome back to My Team episode part 2.
Hey, Chief, we've got multiple parts out of research. Don't forget to develop them. We've got performance sitting on the table that we could be getting into the car.
Alright, so we got some parts from research that have to be developed. I think I developed the front wing and or rear wing, a part on the part on the rear wing because I already did a part on the front wing. And I also am going to do one for pistons on powertrain and one for the chassis. I think it's a weight reduction or a plank something or other. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think durability. Yes, durability. There's one for the gearbox coming in. There's the pistons coming in. So I need to do the spark plugs as well. So hopefully I can get a couple of the powertrain upgrades on, and hopefully I can also get a couple of the aerodynamics in as well, because I think those are two very important. I think chassis and durability are important for more long term because chassis for weight reduction is important because the base My Team car, as we know, is very, very heavy compared to its competitors, and so that's important for some tracks. And durability is going to be important long term because of some of the just overall. Sometimes like the first race, Vashor broke his gearbox in the first race. That is definitely not ideal. As we go to
Your
fan
team
rating.
standing on the grid is measured in two ways: fan rating and sentiment. Fan rating is a measure of your team's prestige and history in the sport and can be increased by completing accolades. Whereas sentiment is more dynamic, a measure of your recent performance both within the current season and looking back to previous seasons. As your fan rating increases, you will earn not only a one-off award for each fan rating level, but also ongoing bonuses that benefit the team. Positive sentiment can unlock more bonuses relative to your fan rating, whereas negative sentiment can temporarily disable bonuses you've earned until your sentiment improves. The combination of fan rating and sentiment will affect many aspects of your career, so keep tabs on them at all times.
So as we see here, um, we need to hurry up and get some more fundraising going to get some of the fan rating up, or maybe not fundraising events, or just do better in the races. But also personal, as you see on the screen, I just bought the upgrade so I can buy multiple of the upgrades for personal at a time, so I can get more things. And then for corporate, I think outreach group or second sponsor team, looking for something, finding new sponsors so we can get more money, even though we do have 5.5 million, so we do have a fair amount of cash to burn through. I just want more cash so we can get even more of these engineering, personal, and corporate upgrades to the facility done, because I think that's also really going to help us out. As I'm looking at, I think Aero Breakthrough here just honestly makes the best sense, because Aero, again, is something that I really want to get going in the beginning, because obviously our car probably isn't the most aerodynamically efficient right now, and it's pretty draggy, and it's just not feeling too great. Some of that might be because of the weight, but also some of that's because of the aerodynamics. As we go to the activities, I just decided that I think we should do the only one we can do. They only gave us two options, and I decided to go ahead and meet with people. But look at that. That's a failed plank, which means for development. That's a failed plank for chassis. I think that's weight reduction, I believe. Distribution, redistribution. As that's a major downside. We would have had that in time for China, which is upcoming here, the race today. But unfortunately, we will not because it failed, and it'll take too long to redo it. And I don't think the pistons will come in either because China's right there. So let's go to China.
Welcome along to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
All right, so heading into qualifying. Hopefully we can do much better than we did last time. Going into the first lap, they gave me mediums. This is on our out lap. So this is sprint quality, by the way. And so, actually, hold on. I think sprint quality you can have mediums. Yes. So I just did one lap at the end because I figured that why do 2 laps on, because they only give you one per session, qualifying session. So for Q1 they only gave us one medium, and I was like, all right, let's do just one final run at the end while the track is still relatively not too green and it's a rubbered in a bit, so it'll be a bit more grippy. As I only got one practice session in the rain, and you can see I completely missed my brake mark because of that session that I had. The only time I had to practice was in the rain, and usually I just use the practice session to just nail my braking point so I can be extra confident going into qualifying, but I couldn't, and we just get absolutely impeded there by Tsunoda. What is he doing? I mean, if you're on your in lap, get out of the way a bit sooner. As to save time, because it's a long episode, we move to the end of our qualifying lap. Keep it nice and tidy through the last corner, out of DRS, dump it all to the line. What are we going to end up? I think it says, yep, P21. That is better than P22, but that's probably not where we want to end up. As we look at the results here, Verstappen and Q1 going the fastest. Wow, we did not get first and last this time. We got second to last and third to last. So, massive improvements, yay. As we will head to the sprint race.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, George Russell, and Piastri, Sainz, Albon, Fernando Alonso, and Pierre Gasly, Lawson, Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, and Stroll, Doohan, Hadjar, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Gabriel Bortoleto, Tsunoda, Crawford, Vershaw, and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
If we don't want to be stuck near the back for most of the race, you're going to need to push early on. Good luck.
As for the strategy, we are going with medium tire because we don't have the best tire wear on our car, and I figured all the AI are going on softs. So what if we get that medium, maybe control the tires in the beginning, and then the last 2 or 3 laps we have much better tires than the AI. So I was thinking, why don't we just go with that as we start off our formation lap? That's what I was thinking, and I was feeling pretty confident about myself. But as you can see, towards the end of the formation lap, ice cold tires. So I'm gonna need to spend the first lap maybe falling back a bit because I'm gonna need to warm up those tires so much. Anyways, let's get to the start of the Chinese Grand Prix here, or sprint race. Lights out, and away we go from Lando Norris, the leader. Looks like he gets a pretty good jump on Verstappen, starting from second, so that's pretty good as we cut back to ourselves, starting the lap. Maybe not coming in like a torpedo like we did in Australia, diving down the inside, getting some beautiful overtakes on Doohan, on Bortoleto, all the way up to 15th now, all the way up to P15, now 16 because Doohan's coming back at us. Maybe he's still a little bit of our rival here, as he's been in front of us for the last 2 races. As we absolutely send it down the inside of Doohan. Look at what a dive bomb that was. Unbelievable work. We probably didn't leave the most amount of space we could, but it could be worse. As we cut to Stroll running in 14th. Could be better for Aston Martin, I'm not gonna lie, especially with Alonso up in 9th. Ocon running 13th, way better than his teammate in P22. Lawson in 12th and Hulkenberg in 11th. Hulkenberg doing pretty good for Kick Sauber, and not quite as good as last race, but I think he will do very well as he comes to Gasly in 10th, just outside the points of the sprint race. As we cut to our POV and we see Bortoleto here, this is later on lap 1, is already attacking us, but we go ultra defenses. We're already, as he runs into us a little bit, we are already out of DRS, so this is very bad for us. We are 1.5 seconds out, and we all know you need to be 1 second away to get that DRS. As I'm trying to use ERS to escape from Bortoleto, even though he has a faster car. Kick Sauber is not a fast car, but faster than us. As we go to Verstappen, sending it down the inside of Norris on that dive bomb. What an overtake by Verstappen. So he's already leading the second race of the season. Is this another dominant season we see from him? But no, maybe it's not. This is on lap 2, Norris, seeing if he can send it down the inside of Verstappen, but no, he doesn't. He doesn't even try to do that. As it's Norris, Leclerc, and Piastri behind Verstappen. Piastri quite a ways behind Leclerc, and Hamilton behind him. So it's a McLaren, Ferrari kind of situation, as double Williams in the points for a sprint race. That is unbelievable work for them. That is very good. Now, moving on to lap 2, I'm kind of stayed where I was, 1.5, well now 1.7, but now there is DRS, and Bortoleto just breezes past us, not even a care or worry in the world, as I try to kind of come back at him and kind of set up some types of switch up, and we actually go for the move. What a move, but oh, he's hit us, and we go wide onto the grass, and that's costing us time, as Doohan now slides past us, and so does Tsunoda in the Red Bull did much better last race than this race, all the way down to P17, so kind of like real life, kind of struggling there. As we send it down the inside, we say absolutely not. We don't get those positions taken away from us like that after such a bad mistake by us. But all this fighting and absolute dive bomb by me has now caused a gap. As you can see, my teammate telling me to be careful. I might agree with him. That was a bit risky there. Now we cut to Norris. Norris is now behind Leclerc, and now Piastri is getting a bit closer to Norris. So Piastri closing up, but maybe that's because of Leclerc and Norris fighting. Let's go to lap 3 on the long back straight. I'm dumping all the battery I can, but Tsunoda still breezes past me with not even trying to. Doohan does too, but I defend off. Oh, send it straight down the inside, go off track. I wonder what would be done about that in real life. As I think maybe I need to turn up the track limits, as I do now have DRS on Tsunoda, so at least I'm able to stay in that train, but I'm still falling a lot of places. I went from 15th to 17th in about a lap or a lap and a half, as I try to set up the switch back on Sonoda, but that's not happening at all. So still staying comfortably. I'm not quite getting traction out of there. It's kind of unfortunate. I always felt like I couldn't get much traction out of there, so we're still staying a ways behind him as we go to lap 5 for the AI. Pretty boring race after the first 3 laps for me. Albon has suddenly fallen 2 places. So he's overtaken by Alonso and Russell, but Sainz still running that P6, so that's very crucial for their points. As we know, only 8th gets you points, so Alonso running the points. If Alonso can defend from Albon, he'll get his first points of the season, I believe, unless I think he might have scored in Australia. As we go to Russell on the last lap of the race, diving it down the inside of his old teammate Lewis Hamilton. So let's see if he can hold on to that position, and I think he does. Verstappen crossing the line, last lap of the race, another win for him. Norris nipping at his heels, and then it goes Norris, Leclerc, and Piastri. So another dominant win for Verstappen, well, relatively dominant. As we skip ahead to the last lap of the race, it wasn't very eventful. As you can see, I cleared Dune of DRS, and I was still ways away from Bortoleto. So pretty comfortable coming home in P17. I feel much better now that I have some drivers finishing behind me. They did not DNF. It's a great feeling, really. I don't know if you guys understand. I don't know if you guys feel the same that I do, but that P17 felt like scoring points almost. It was such a great P17. Great to get that on the car. As we see, Piastri maybe not quite matching up to pace that we've seen from him in real life. Which is kind of unfortunate because it would be kind of cool to see like a Piastri, Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc championship. But let's go to the race.
To Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
As we start off qualifying at the Chinese Grand Prix, hopefully it goes a lot better than it did last time. As I started the first lap on mediums, just get a bank lap in there, so I didn't even show that first lap to save time as we come across the line in P8, but we know that P8 isn't going to last at all. But I just wanted to set a bank lap on those mediums, just get me comfortable with the track, as now I have fresh softs on, trying to capitalize the most that I can. I will show this full lap because it gives you the best idea of how much slower I was on those mediums. As you can see here already, 3 seconds. Oh, nope, 2. I lied. Anyways, carrying on to this turn, aka my favorite turn, I think. That, or I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like China that much, especially when it comes to qualifying. I like this. I like high speed turn, but I really don't like those long, like coily turns on the sector 1 and sector 3. I just really don't like them, just because I tend to lose grip as we just run quite wide there. Not good at all. We are still wow, gained a lot of time there. I think I almost spun out there, and so I didn't do good on the medium, so I was like, that's such a bad lap. I bothered not showing it just because, you know, I knew I was going to improve so much. And let's go to the second to last corner. Go way too slow. Don't quite keep all the wheels on the track, which is unfortunate. I mean, don't quite keep that front right tire on the track, which is kind of unfortunate. As we head to the final turn, it is still a massive improvement. 1 second and 4/10. Goodness, I can't talk right now. But that's only good enough to put us 18th. So that is, I mean, a lot better than our teammate by 3 seconds. Guys, you see that? 3 seconds. Wow, that is crazy work. Anyways, that is still only good enough to put us 18th, which is very unfortunate. As I think think, a little bit better at the beginning of this turn, but at the end I don't do quite so good getting that rotation through. But see, I'm still gaining quite a bit of time, as I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end of the lap, because this is a long episode and I don't want to in all 4 qualifying laps. And as we go to the end of the lap, I'm a second up on that time. I'm P22 though, as what is that, 17th, I think, because you can kind of see at the beginning before it shows you. Yep, 17th. I don't think that's just narrowly missing out on Q2, which is really unfortunate. But I mean, I don't know. As we look at our teammate, and wow, P15. Don't know where he pulled that from, but all of a sudden he's faster than us. And look how close we were to Gasly. 3 hundredths of a second away from making it into Q2, which is very unfortunate, but we're just going to have to survive with that as we go to race day.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once again. It's a race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first win with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt there's plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight, before the cars break into the tight hairpin at turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, George Russell, and Piastri. Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, and Liam Lawson. Gasly, Ocon, Gabriel Bortoleto, Doohan, Behrman, Crawford, Richard Verschoor, and Nico Hülkenberg. Hadjar, Albon, Antonelli, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Now, we had great fun watching them win last time out. What a great victory it was. But can they carry that into today's race?
It's the important one, isn't it, Crofty? You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
Try to put the starting position out of your mind and just focus on the race ahead. We can still do a good job here today.
As we head to the strategy board, and I decided to go with a medium hard situation, pitting about one lap earlier than suggested off of the medium. So it was 9 laps on the mediums, 11 laps on the hards. As I don't know if you guys saw there in the replay, I don't know if you guys pay attention to that kind of stuff. I leave it in because I kind of like watching it. But let me know if you want me to change that. Anyways, I was looking there and I realized Verschoor has number 22 and so does Tsunoda. So gonna have to change that. As we go to the end of the formation lap, and I don't know what's wrong with me in formation lap. I can't get the tires warm for any reason, as that's a horrible. Forget the tires. Look at that grid parking job. That's horrible. Unforgivable. But P17 is a lot better than P22. As we go lights out. And away we go. Verstappen defending from Norris as we cut to our POV. Norris and Piastri on the front, Norris and Verstappen on the front row again. What a dive bomb down the inside. We've already made up several places. Oh, we're just making up tons of places. Already up into 11th place, P11, as we try to kind of split the gap between Gasly and Sainz. But I figured, let me not be a bully and kind of bang wheels with both of them. As it looks like Norris has taken away the place from Verstappen. I think he was on pole, or maybe it was Verstappen. But anyways, these two rivalry, you can already see here in China, heating up as we go back to an absolute crazy of a dive bomb, as Gasly probably has PTSD from us. Just luckily there that he didn't crash, Gasly probably, as we absolutely banged wheels with him, which was definitely our bad. But hey, next time I see Gasly, I'm doing it again. It's just going to be a me and Gasly thing. Anyways, as we look at those tires, look at those front tires. Couldn't get those things warm to save my life. And that is just a major thing that I'm going to have to figure out. I think I'm going to have to, kind of practice warming the tires. And also, I just think, our car maybe might not be too good at warming tires. I don't know how that makes sense. But I'm going to blame it 80% on me, 20% on the car, because I want to. Let me know if that's really a thing. I don't know. Anyways, going to Norris on lap 1, Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc. So the two Ferraris up running pretty good, actually. Not too bad this season. Sorry, Ferrari fans out there. Russell running in P5. Alonso in P6. Quite good. Piastri down in P7. A lot worse than his teammate in P1. Although, to be fair, if Norris is P1, I don't automatically expect Piastri to be second. Anyway, Tsunoda, P8. Quite a bit better than his sprint race. Gasly P9, us in P10, and Sainz in P11. I can only imagine that he's going to come back at us. So same with Baron, Ocon, and Doohan. Really, anybody that's 2 or 3 or 4 places behind us, I don't expect anything but an absolute scrap to try to get that place back from us, because we really don't deserve to be running in P10 right now. As we can see from our teammate who's running in P19, already dropped 3 places. But I think I'm going to continue driving as Bashore from here on out, because I've just been driving better this race. Even though I do kind of want to drive as Crawford, the American, I think I just feel better with Bashore. There's something about it. Maybe it's because he's Dutch, got a little bit of Max Verstappen, and maybe, I don't know. As we go to Verstappen, he's lining up a move here. He's going to, he dives around the outside of Norris. What are we going to see here? Who's going to get the better traction? Who's going to get the better getaway? It looks like it's Verstappen. And Verstappen gets the move done on Norris. And I believe he's going to keep it. Yes, he will. And Norris falls back a place again. So it's Verstappen and Norris yet again. But is Norris going to come back at him? No, he's just going to sit behind him, which is a little bit disappointing, actually. As we go to lap 2, purple sector 1 and a green sector 2. So looking better. We have DRS now from Tsunoda. And drained the absolute heck out of that battery. Just absolutely said, use all that ERS. As I'm trying to see if I can maybe make a move on Tsunoda or Gasly, even though our car is struggling for pace against those Gaslys on the soft. Behrman also on the soft. So I'm probably going to feel some pressure from Behrman. Draining that battery still down to 1%. But still, a pretty good lap time. Obviously not fast as Tsunoda, close to fastest. And we shouldn't be getting fast laps for a while now, just because of how bad the car is. It's not even close to second to. It's not even close to getting kick salve, and kick salve is a tractor. Our car is not good at all. And what is this caution? And what is that? Is that Piastri? Piastri's engine, maybe? Oh my, having a horrible start to the season, but look at that. His engine just exploded. And that's a free position for us now, up to P9. So maybe we can get overtaken by Sainz. Sainz and Behrman maybe got held up a little bit by Piastri after that engine broke, or exploded more like. But interesting. So Piastri already having a mechanical failure, second race, and he hasn't had the best of races so far. So it looks like Piastri already the championship's slipping. I know it's the second race, so he's definitely not out of it. I'm just saying, so far, he isn't going very well. As you can see, our radio engineer told us Piastri was retiring, and I said, wow, you really needed to tell us that. I saw his engine explode in our face. I don't think I needed to hear that. let's look at that one more time. I thought that was a tire lockup at first, but then I was like, oh, it's a yellow flag. And yeah, you can see there, just smoke coming out coming out the back of his car, and that's got to be really really bad. Oh my days! Lawson just crashing right into the back of Piastri, and that's got to be a broken wing. And I think Behrman touched him as well, so maybe Behrman and Lawson both have broken wings. As we go to lap 3, Lewis Hamilton breezes by Lando Norris, who's just not having a great race start from the lead, and Verstappen looks like he's already pulling away in the lead. So Norris falling from first to third, from P1 to P3 very quickly on as we go to lap 4. Getting DRS off of Gasly, don't have quite enough battery to pull off, so I'm trying to do a move around the outside, but Fernando's going to close the door. What are we going to do here? As I try to set up that switchback again, is it going to work? Oh my days, it works beautifully. Beautiful move around, getting both of them, make them look absolutely like fools right there. And Tsunoda's pulled away by 2 seconds, probably because of that. And because of our fighting and because of my switchback, which was a beautiful move, by the way. As we go to Behrman, Behrman does have to pit for a new front wing. I did think I saw him hit Piastri in that replay, and Lawson, as I said, you can see just rear-ended Piastri, so that's very unfortunate. Kind of ruins both their races. They were actually running in P13 and P12, which is, that's viable for the points there. As we go to our F3 teammate Crawford, I mean, both of us are F3. He's the guy I drove as the last race, and he goes around the outside of Hulkenberg. Great job by our teammate. Kick Sauber is a bad car, but much better than our car, and he's defending it brilliantly. As we head to lap 6, Alonso right on our rear end, but Sainz kind of trying to come at him as well with those hard tires, which is kind of surprising because Alonso's got the softs and he's got the hards, and he looks like he has better pace in the slower car. Make that make sense. Anyways, a little nudge there from Sainz trying to get past me. I probably shouldn't have closed the door on him quite so hard. But all this battling has done nothing for me and everything for Tsunoda. Look at that. That is a 6-second gap already. That's been about, what, 3 laps? And it's 6 seconds already. That's unbelievable. As we go to Tsunoda, sizing up a move on Russell. Dives down the inside, one of the better places to pull off a dive bomb. Tribute to Daniel Ricciardo there. As let's see if he gets the place. Russell will have the inside line for the next corner, and he just can't quite get the place. So Tsunoda struggling a bit in the Red Bull, but still P6 is not necessarily struggling. I'm just saying he's definitely not an Verstappen now. Let's not get it twisted. As we go to lap 8, draining all the battery, but we have completely broken DRS because Sainz and Alonso were just fighting so much for lap 6 and 7. They were just fighting a lot, and to be fair, our pace is closed up to Tsunoda, so I'm very happy with this pace that we're just kind of pulling out of nowhere. 2 seconds over. I know it's over 2 laps, but I mean 2 seconds over 2 laps for a car as bad as us on a car, even though it is struggling as good as Red Bull. I'm more than pleased with that. As we go to Leclerc, he comes into the pits. Not the best of pit stops, and Alonso and Gasly into the pits as well. These are the 2 people that we were kind of fighting. So let's see what kind of pit stop they have. Alonso, he looks like he has. That's a pretty decent stop. I wouldn't say that's the best, but that's not bad at all. I would be pretty pleased with that. Our mechanics can't do anything to screw our race up, unfortunately. And Alpine done a good stop as well. So Alpine and Aston Martin could do good stops, but clearly we can't. I was supposed to come in this lap, but I decided not to just because I felt good. I felt the pace was good on the mediums. On that, and so I was like, let's set a flyer for in lap, and just try to get an overcut going. Skipping on to the end of the in lap, we're coming in here to change for our one and only pit stop of the race. Not doing a 2-stop like we did in Australia. Hopefully our team can deliver a good pit stop now because they've done nothing but screw me over so far. As you saw in Australia, they just did nothing to help my race out. It's particularly the people on the right side, that front right tire. And now it's the front rear. I mean, right rear, as that's a horrible stop time. I showed you guys the replay, so you can see the rear because that was the one that they couldn't attach. I don't know, what was that, like 5 seconds? I think it was a little bit more than 5 seconds. So an over 5-second pit stop, as these tires are still cold. 5-second pit stop, are you kidding me? In a race where we're going so dominant like this, we lost places to Alonso and Gasly, and oh my days, it's a safety car.
Make sure you keep it positive.
So second race of the season, already a safety car. And let's see what caused that safety car. Ocon doing not signs, I don't think. Maybe it was Ocon. I think it was. As yes, looky there, he just spins. So maybe getting on the power too early. Maybe the tires a bit wary or cold. Maybe the tires were cold. I'm not sure. I think he came in for his pit stop, as most people did, from lap 9 to 10, something like that. So that would make sense that he did that. But that's his race pretty much ruined. As our teammate Crawford is already down at the P20. Which is very unfortunate. As we skip on to lap 13, we're under the safety car for like 2 laps, I think. Because I'm pretty sure it started at like lap 11. So really awful timing for. Oh, we try to just take evading action on Gasly there. As terrible time for my pit stop. If I would have stopped the same time as Alonso and Gasly, I probably would have stayed right behind them because our pit stop was so slow. I would have stayed right behind him. As Norris jumped Verstappen in the pits, but it doesn't matter because Verstappen just goes around the outside. Beautiful overtake. And it looks like he's just in command of this race, which is definitely not good for Norris or really anybody. Anyways, as we go to lap 17, not much happened. Honestly, just trying to remain calm and cool and collected. I got DRS from Alonso, which is very nice. I'll have DRS again. Let's see if we can pull off a move here. We do pull off the move. We run out of battery though, so I think Alonso's come right back at us. Right, he's gonna try and squeeze us out as we fake a dive to the inside. Let's see if we can switch up that patented. I'm kidding. Switchback. It's not patented. It's just I like doing switchbacks. Oh, we touched tires there. Am I gonna be able to get traction on Alonso? Kind of closed the door a little bit. Maybe not the cleanest racing by us, but still very effective racing. I think that at this point in the race, I was still majorly concerned with the fact that I didn't get to pit under the safety car as we jumped to Verstappen on lap 18. He is just so dominant, just absolutely pulling away from everybody. I, however, do no longer have DRS, and I'm just trying to empty all that battery to defend him off, but I think Sainz trying to attack him. So Sainz definitely paying me some favors here by attacking Alonso as we head to the outside to get the better racing line there. But anyways, as I was saying earlier around the safety car, if we would have come in at lap 9 like we were supposed to, we wouldn't have been so far behind Alonso. Not that it really mattered because we had the safety car. But if we would have come in a lap later, I would have been able to come under safety car, which would have given us a huge benefit. We could be running in P6 or 5. We do not deserve to even be in P7. We don't even deserve to be in the top 14, if I'm being honest. So I'm just counting my luck here. I definitely think I should raise the difficulty. I don't know about you. You guys let me know in the comments. I think I'm going to raise it by 5 more points. I said I'm not the best driver, but I think I've been slowly improving a little bit on this game. So I think I'm going to raise it by 5 more points of difficulty. As we head on to the lap last, as you can see now, ooh, just a little spin from the wheels, just a little snap from the rear there. And Russell got overtaken by Tsunoda, as you see there, which is pretty surprising, seeing Tsunoda showing off a little bit of pace in that second Red Bull seat, which we don't really see very often. And here I'm just trying to save up all the battery I can, because I know I'm not going to be able to get into DRS, and I'm trying to save up all that battery. As we go to Verstappen, crosses the line in China to win the Chinese Grand Prix. Lando Norris coming in second, and Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton picking up third and fourth. Pretty good day in the office for Ferrari, but even better day in the office for Verstappen. And Norris not being able to pick up the win as we go to the back straight of the last lap, going as defensive as I can. Sainz trying to attack as I go as late at the brakes as I feel comfortable, because we've been overshooting on the brakes so many times this race, as we've seen. So I was like, I need to be able to make sure that they don't set me up with a switchback as we just coast into the last corner, burn all the battery, and I don't think they'll be able to get us. No, they won't. It's a fantastic day in the office. P7. Way better race. unbelievable race. I am fanatical. I'm fantastical. Sorry. I am just so over the moon about what a fantastic performance that was.
Victory and a
Unbelievable.
champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And it's always good, Crofty, to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
We had drama from start to finish, but in the end, there was only ever one that could take that top spot. And for those that have missed the Dutch national anthem, fear not. It's back again, because Max Verstappen is back on the top step.
And it is Max Verstappen winning the Chinese Grand Prix, winning every Grand Prix of the season. Unbelievable start to the season for him. That is such a great accomplishment to do that. I mean, we've pretty much seen him do the same thing before in 2023. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Verstappen's going to pull away with it easily, or do you think Red Bull's going to fall off? I think McLaren maybe not showing the best of paces that they could have. Anyways, as we look at the results, our teammate, dead last. I mean, I know it was a safety car bait, but you were running P16, but now you're P21. That's really unfortunate, but I can't be too mad. The car wasn't doing very good, and I don't think the difficulty is quite right. I definitely think I'm going to need to lower that, because there's no way we're scoring P7 in our second race like that. And I just don't like to win and get points immediately. I think we should maybe midway through the season start consistently scoring, P9s and P8s, but I think that we shouldn't be scoring P7 like that. And frankly, I think raising the difficulty by just a couple would be just way better for viewership, make me better, and I think it would just make the series a whole lot better. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment, give it a like, whatever you think would make the series better, and make sure to have an awesome day. See you in the next one.